Hi, friends. Welcome back to the channel. I am Dale. Welcome back to the table where we do tarot. I am not as congested today. Um, it feels super, super quiet. The energy, it just feels almost stagnant. Like I feel like I need to have some sort of white noise machine in the room. Um, but there's definitely liveliness outside. I've already gone for a walk this morning. It was nice. Like the snow is all melting. The animals are frolicking. Um, the dog and I took the long walk, which was like the first time for I don't know how many months it's been. Normally we just take like this 10-minute walk, but we took like our half-hour walk this morning. Um, so, but I'm feeling this sense of like confronting this part of me that has always been kind of this very serious part of me that doesn't just like have fun or start off the day. But I don't know. It's like I have a short fuse when it comes to my seriousness, meaning that like I can start out being positive and feeling like, yay, that's a great idea. And like when I'm talking to other people or my kids or whatever, I'm seeing perfection and smoke. I wasn't even really trying to use this deck, but this is the Liminal Forest Oracle, and it's by MJ Cullinane. And what I was looking for is just something to kind of like soothe that part of me to be like, okay, girl, you've grown out of that. You don't need to be that way anymore. Because I had like a very childish mother, and just, I don't know, I just always felt like most comfortable in my seriousness, though I don't feel best there necessarily. It's like I feel best just like everybody else in my like whatever I would say in my bubbly self, though I wouldn't say that I'm a bubbly person, but other people might think that I am. But it's like when the best parts of you are like bubbling out and over, it's because you're not putting it on. You're not like trying to be that thing. You're actually letting go and just allowing yourself to be yourself. That actually brings up a good point because I saw this great YouTube short and I wanted to, I'm going to link it in this video because it was about how it's like some body movement practices that this younger person is doing, saying that his grandmother used to do it. And I'm just going to link it because there's some really great things, and it's all just in like writing. It's like in text that you're reading as you're watching him do the body movements. And what he's saying, because I think it's so unimportant to freaking talk about like the things that bother people. I think that is what hinders growth and progress. And I don't think that things need to be talked about. Though it might feel better for you to get something off your chest. It's like that's only step one. And then step two is walking it out. Or if you don't have somebody to talk to about it, you need to like move through your body and walk things out and actually do things. Well, the thing that we have in our modern world is like more and more sedentary nature. And that you can watch like the downfall of our society. If you go back and watch stuff from the 90s or even from before that, you will see how much less human we are than we used to be. You know, it's like body shapes have changed because we're all healthy and out of proportion and stuff like that. But the point of that video is that people don't need to talk about all this trauma language and therapeutic language. It's not what has helped people. It's not that they are carrying too much. It's that they're holding on to too much. And that's the point of like the movement in your body is to allow you to let go and release energy. Okay. And that is the problem with sitting still and holding a phone. It's like you can scan through millions and millions of things right in front of you, whereas you used to have to just do that in your mind as you were like staring off into like daydream space. But now we have like a physical device that can do that for us. Well, also, it stops the body movement. So we're like compounding the impact of that on our health, and it's negative. It's very, very negative. So it's like you might see positive things online and you might be like, well, positivity, you know, it's like you have a social media platform, right? It's like me doing this YouTube thing. It's like, yeah, it's available online, but that's not how things used to be. I have gone to 3 tarot readers, I think, in my lifetime, spent like 60 to $100 on each one. And it was very important to me at the time that the message was very important to me. So when we have it at a rapid fire like this, it's like we're not actually taking it to mean something. It's like, well, I don't really like that one. It doesn't really vibe with where I'm at. We've got perfection and smoke. So it tells me it's like you have to burn up this concept of perfection. Where there's smoke, there's fire. So maybe you need to investigate like you need to investigate where the actual fire is coming from within you, because if you can't see things clearly because there's like this smoke around. It's like it's because there's a fire burning, but you don't know the origin point of that fire. You're just seeing the smoke and wondering like, where is my fire? I know it's in there because I know what I'm seeing isn't clear and it's not what I want either. All right, we've got eclipse. This came out yesterday. So we've got this opportunity that, what I was talking about is like being so serious. It's like I don't want to be like that because I feel like it makes me miserable for the people around me. But I'm aware of it. So I try to be my better self. But it's like when it's still a process of you got to try to be nicer, it's like, okay, well, you still have room for growth. But really, where the growth is like in this eternal release, internal release. I said eternal, which, perhaps that matters too. But what if I wanted to look within and figure out what do I need to release internally? It's all the pent up stuff that I couldn't do when I was younger or that people didn't give me the space for. It was like that's why I was an angry little kid was because I wanted to know like the basics of living of like how to grow plants and how to make crafts. It's like I was very domesticated in my mind. It's like I wanted to be a domesticated woman and I didn't have anybody to teach me that. But also I wanted to be this like hardworking. It's like ever since I was born, I've had this very intense energy of both an internal masculine and internal feminine, which we all have. But it's like almost my internal masculine energy would get fired up more because nothing was there to like nurture that internal feminine domestication energy, except for my grandmother, which I never got to spend much time with her. Though when I did, we would do that. We would like watch QVC together, watch the shopping net or not shopping, the Food Network together. And then like we would make stuff together. We would do our crafts together. We would do like what was it? Sweat into the Oldies with Richard Simmons, not because it was hers, because it was mine. Because my doctors were always hassling my mom about like she needs to lose weight and stuff. It's like, yo, I don't even, whatever. So anyway, we've got the Hierophant coming up in this deck, and this is the Ethereal Visions. What is it? Ethereal Bloom Tarot. Okay, and we've got the star. We've got the Hierophant and the star. That's like that's a power couple on your side saying that the Hierophant is like if you follow the truth, you get your wish upon a star in the way that you want it. And if you still have things to shed, if you still have things to release, then that's not the ultimate truth yet. But the truth, I mean, the truth is that you have stuff to release. So you need to go about that the quickest way possible if you're ready for that. If you're ready for to shed those layers and to deal with that. It's like sometimes you try to change so many things in one day to have like a perfect day based on who you want to be, and then everybody is discouraging around it. My son, for example, is like he's been problematic because of all the stuff that he like how he talks about wanting to be a better person rather than actually putting in the action to do it. But he's been like trying to, and it's like we're not adjusted to that. We're not used to that part of him. And so it's like a little bit like, whoa, okay. So if you try to do too much too soon, it's going to overwhelm the people around you. And then man, these cards are doing stuff. Um, oh, the death card. I feel like I haven't seen that one yet. It's so pretty. Okay, whoa. Nine of Cups. And what's this? King of Swords. All right, let's take something out of here. Feel like it's on the Fool, but I feel like I need to flip it one more time. And we've got the Empress. All right. So it's about going out kind of wildly on your feminine knowing. It's like not wildly as in out of control, but yeah, it's somewhat out of control. It's like you're not trying to control the expression of it. And I don't know what just fell, but it fell and like spun. Hang on. Whatever it was that fell, it was not in my room, but I could hear it like it was like a coin had fallen and it was spinning and then fell over. Um, so, oh, great. So we've got the Fool into the Empress. And it's about moving forward into this birth of something that's because this Empress, she doesn't really look pregnant, right? She's the number 3 card, and right below her is the 3 of Swords, which is symbolic of the heartbreak. But then we've got the 10 of Cups, which is symbolic of like happiness for all. And then we've got the 3 of Pentacles under that, which is like gathering together to build something that's important. So I won't keep going down into that, but it's like this is what you need to release. Okay, you can't really release this wouldn't be a good thing to release where it comes to like emptying out all of your cups. You wouldn't want to do that, all right, because this is happiness for all. So that's not the thing that you need to work on. It's this. It's that there's still swords put in here somewhere, and that is the cause of this when it comes to my like more serious nature. It's because I realized that being just in the full heart space and in this like domestic feminine energy that I wanted when I was a kid was like it wasn't possible in the environment that I was around or with the parents that I had. So it was like very quickly it like put these swords in to let me know, well, you're limited in what you can do and how you can express yourself and things like that. So then you tend to go edgier. If you can't get away with being like the softest part of you and the real honest light inside of you, then you'll darken yourself and you'll go edgier so that you can at least like secure the boundaries around you somehow. And that's by either being a bitch or like being scary or something. I was such a bitch and I still like am, but it's not what's best. It's not what's best. And so I have been trying not to be that way for many years, right? So, but it's not to everybody, certainly. And I don't, some people are just outwardly, they don't care how they behave in front of others. But it's more like when people are close to you, you're like, you establish this sort of protection, this barrier of protection for yourself just for whatever reason, just because we're wounded as people. We've got the Eight of Wands, which means it's like a burning message coming in fast, and it's coming in this stage of hermit mode, okay? And that doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that you're closed off to everybody else. It's like an epiphany that's coming in, perhaps at the full moon, because if you look, the full moon is touching the crown chakra. It's touching like the third eye and crown chakra, basically right here and here. And so there's some real enlightenment and wisdom that is coming in. And it seems to be coming from the intuition, but perhaps that is the timing is to move forward with the full moon because the full moon is usually symbolic of birth. Like she's got a full moon behind her, is what it looks like. And that's because the Empress is supposed to be representative of birthing something into the world. But we also have death. And then we have the Nine of Cups and the King of Swords. And it's like, if you want personal fulfillment, there's you it's about like creating a death to the concept of like being bitchy to be representative of the King of Swords. It's like that's really not what would get a king in that spot is like just by being an asshole all the time. It's like you could get there, but that's not going to be a respected king. And it's about that transformation that is required to get into your personal happiness. Again, it's like you're not trying to empty out these cups, right? You're not trying to take this sword away from the king. It's like you want somebody to be in a king position who carries a sword of truth, okay? To know only what to speak when it's beneficial and not what to say. To a good leader builds their people up, they don't destroy them. And that's the point. It was like we have these wounds from childhood or things from childhood or this prevention of really having full cups because other people didn't know how to encourage through being a good leader. There aren't many great leaders out there just because it's not it's not taught through growing up in like a society where the leaders come from within the society. It's this concept of voting and all this stuff. How are you going to vote for somebody that you don't know, that you didn't grow up with? If you know somebody who got famous, you know all the regular things about them. You know all the regularity about them, that they're just a regular person, just like you. And I think that's the illusion of like wanting things. Like we want fame or we want money or we want a car or we want all these things, but it's like when you get acquainted with it, when you get familiar with it, when you saw how it was made, you see how not special it is. The only reason why things seem special, like, or that they're better than you, or you can idolize another person, is because you're putting them up on this pedestal that they're trying to tell you that they don't deserve. Have you ever listened to musicians' lyrics? They're like telling you how broken they are inside, and then they can't handle that level of fame, and then they go in, you know what I mean? It's like we're all just human. So let's see if we can get a message over top of that with the Luna edition, um, Ethereal Visions Luna edition tarot. All right. And it looks upside down. What's up with that? Are they all upside down? They are. Okay. So Three of Cups upside down. Even though I don't read in reversals, I'm taking it to be in reversals. There was Eight of Cups is in reverse and Three of Cups is in reverse because the whole deck is in reverse. And that's what I was just looking at. And that to me tells me that there's not there's not a fulfillment through gathering right now. You don't really feel like that, but you also don't feel like you have anything to walk away from when it comes to like a lack of emotional fulfillment. It's like you're sort of in this liminal space, right? Like we started off with the liminal forest. It's like you're trying to kind of sort things out because you know that you get everything that you ask for, whether it's conscious or subconscious. And so you're trying to be more conscious when it comes to that hermit space right here of like using your intuition to really figure out what it is that you want or what you want to let go of. That's that representative of death. It's like you do not want to let go of your happiness anymore, your emotional fulfillment. You do not want to let go of that. You also don't want to have to go to battle with people anymore. And so you only want to say the words that are true to you and that have power, or say nothing at all. And that's what this is about. It's like you also don't need to release all of your words. You don't need to let go of all them out into the regular world because that is not powerful. That's actually what weak people do, is when they just talk about stuff. We're coming out on the moon. Okay, so we're having this intuition come up again. The moon, and the moon is here with her. It's so I would say that if you want to take it to mean an actual thing, like a physical thing in the world, it's like there's something around the full moon. Okay. We've got the Three of Cups now coming up in the upright. We've got the King of Wands, the Knight of Cups, the Eight of Pentacles, Ten of Cups. Let's see. King of Wands, Two of Pentacles, Page of Cups. It's a lot of cards. If you can see them, let's take a look at them. So we've got the Three of Cups and the I'm going to take these to like clarify right here. Okay, yeah, because I specifically set it up that way and didn't know why. And then we're going to clarify further down. All right, so we've got the message or the Eight of Wands. I was going to say the messenger of friendship. And that's what this is. It's like you got the Eight of Wands is that you're finding people of a similar heart space. And that doesn't mean that you're all soft and emotional. It just means that you kind of vibe off that same energy, which means that if you need to get serious about things, you can. The Knight of Wands card. So you've got the Hermit and the Knight of Wands. Each person has one staff, right? Each person has one wand. The Hermit in this deck is a woman, all right? And this one, it's a knight, and that's a man. But it seems almost like this partnership between like a fired up masculine energy and a woman who is like isolated and wise, all right? Very intuitive, very wise. And a man that might be somewhat immature and has passion, but he's ready to move forward because he's like a fire sign. He's a fire sign that's been moving against his natural. It's almost like he's been trying to be like an air sign or something grounded when that's not really what he is. That's not really where he thrives. So there's something about this coming together of this like wise, grounded hermit feminine energy and this wild masculine energy, this fiery masculine energy that hasn't really had the opportunity to get where he wants to be yet. But this concept of where I see the salamanders here, there's this regenerative quality going on right now of like where there's this looking within to see where have we not gotten to yet that I still want to get to and what have I been doing to stand in my own way. Well, we've got death and the Knight of Cups. It's like there's something about a change. It's to stop focusing on the emotions and to start focusing on the fiery passion because that's what's more in alignment. Okay, and then we've got the Nine of Cups. This is actually your emotional fulfillment is very much based on your work every day. It's like the work that you do in the actual physical world. And that's kind of where I started off this message saying that we don't need more motivation. We don't have more burdens now than we ever did before. It's that we're holding on to too much and that we need to keep releasing things. We need to keep moving. And that's what the Eight of Pentacles is. It's when you're doing actual physical work. And this is the important part about it because it's pentacles. Pentacles represent the physical land, the earth, your health, your money, things like that. You need to keep people moving. It's not like it's swords. Swords is doing stuff virtually, right? It's like so much of our work is done virtually or we're doing virtual work. It's not actual work. It's not even necessary work. And so it's like I'm going to look up, I'm going to put this up because what I have realized is that, okay, let me finish what I was saying. You can tell that we're all doing virtual work because we're doing constant work and we're just bogged down by more things. If it were physical work, then we would be moving that energy out of our body and we're not. Okay. So we're just like holding on to more and more and more. And then we want to talk it out. The talking, it's almost like this balloon. It's just like you're releasing air out of the balloon. It didn't like fix the situation. It's like you just like let the air out and then it can repressurize, whereas what you really need to do is like pop the balloon when you're feeling pressurized. And that popping the balloon is that physical nature of making sure that it can't repressurize. All right. So, um, but what I've realized is that I have had this pain in my shoulder for years. And I always think like, oh, it's because of my posture. It's like because of when I'm pushing down on stuff. So I'll like try to space I'll try to fix my posture. And that's number one. You want to have more self-respect. Focus on your posture. All right. It's better for everything in your body. It puts everything into alignment. But what I realize is that I've been keeping my head down for so many years and working hard that is what has caused the arthritis in my neck and spine to pinch what's going on over in my like shoulder and stuff. So I'll get shoulder pain doing absolutely nothing of physical labor. And that's kind of the point here is like the pain that we're causing ourselves isn't caused by physical labor. It's caused by putting too much energy into stuff that doesn't actually heal the body or renew it. So you need to put more effort into physical stuff that will give you personal fulfillment. And that is something more like a hobby. If you can transform a hobby into your job or make your job feel like a hobby, that's even better. But not when it comes to like you take this hobby and then you try to monetize it, and then it's not enjoyable anymore. Okay. So then we've got, when it comes to the King of Swords, we've got the Ten of Cups clarifying that or like giving us our next message. And that is that when you have this mastery level of where you're not just talking anymore, like you are in a position of authority because you're trustworthy and because you've done the work, that allows for emotional happiness for everybody. Think about it. If we don't have a good leader, how can we have happy people? If we have a good leader and everybody feels secure, doesn't everybody have happiness? That's the whole point. It's like you need to start that in your own life. Every family member has to have a leader, okay? And I do think that it should start with a feminine intuition. I think that that is what's most important about the moon card coming up is that it's the feminine intuition is the Ace of Cups. Okay. Ace of Cups was right underneath that. It's like the Ace of Cups is almost like the womb space. That's what I think about that. It's like the creative emotional space where all things are created based on what the feminine intuition is. And we've got the Five of Wands under that and the Four of Swords. And this is kind of the problem. If you look, it's like we got into this world of like capitalism where there's all this stupid battle, and then it brought women into like where they had to be. It's the Four of Swords, which is representative of like thinking and meditating on how you actually want to live your life. But what we've got here is the Four of Swords, and I do believe that this is the creator's wife. I think that this is an artistic rendition of his wife, and it's like, but that's part of the problem is that with this capitalistic market, we brought women into the workforce and they had to become like these armored up knights instead of being like this, right? You know? And that's not saying anything about his wife that she's like in masculine energy, but I think he sees her as like strong. And that's why she's depicted that way. That's only if that's who it is. But I think it is based on because I read through the book that it comes with. So now we're going to further clarify. s- Um, it's kind of like a funneling down of what's going on. We have the King of Wands, and again, there's this real big emphasis on the salamander, and this regenerative process. And then we've got like lion heads, and I was noticing this in the King of Wands card that I pulled yesterday from the gold foil tarot. But I think that he had like a lion's head on his chain, and then he had multiple salamanders. And so what I like about this one is that this king, he looks kind of like chubby and lazy to me. I don't know. He doesn't look super impressive, but what's going on here is that he's got one salamander and two lion heads. And that represents to me that he's got like some wisdom and strength more so than just this transitional like, okay, I'm gonna shift and move and transition if I don't feel strong enough for my people. It's like that's the thing is like a weak leader will they'll be real shifty, like from one group to the next because they're just trying to get the vote, right? They're not really grounded in who they are. But I don't think of this king as having like this domineering look to him, just based on how I'm judging him as I look at him. But I think that he's got strength because he's got the two lions and the salamander here, and he's got strength in order to like where he can kind of look unassuming and yet be strong and solid because all that requires is a good grip on what your internal fire is, right? When you think about like the wands are the suit of fire, they represent fire. And it's like when you have a handle on that, instead of it just like burning everything up, then you're not having to like again, you're being a good leader for your people because you understand your power. You understand your power, and that it's more important about being like strong and being a good leader as opposed to like being able for your tail to fall off and regrow another one. It's like, yeah, that's part of it is like, um, but it's not about always like changing. And though it's a salamander and not like a chameleon or something like that, it's like that's the energy that I'm getting. That a good leader does not have to change, okay? And it doesn't matter how they look and it doesn't matter like what you think of them. It's that good leadership leads to happiness for all the people. And a creative king, that's the thing is the wands are really the suit of creativity. It's like a creative king is one that is adaptable for changing people, right? Because no matter what, people are going to change throughout time, throughout influences. And it's like an adaptable king needs to understand that all of this virtual living that we're doing is hurting our people. And we need to move back into one where it's almost like what's scarier, a real lion or a virtual lion, you know? And it's like we need to remember what has the most power, and that is the real things in the physical world. You know, that's why I bring that up about the lions. Is like think about the difference in energy between if you were standing in the room with a lion or standing in the room with a lion poster. It's like there is so much power in the physical world, in the physical movement of the world. And this Two of Pentacles is kind of, we got the Page of Cups and the Two of Pentacles. And it shows that there's like, in this one, it doesn't feel like juggling the coins, you know, or a lack of balance. It feels like dancing with what you have and not having so much that you can't dance with it, right? It's about minimalizing, minimalist approach. In the Page of Cups, it's about like looking looking at your personal emotions from a little bit of a distance instead of talking about your trauma all the time. That's not the way to get through it. It's about only having what you want, dancing with what you want, and then always being a little bit spaced out from your emotions because they can feel so overwhelming that we're like, how does everybody else not feel this? Like, it's so overwhelming inside of me. Then you want to tell everybody about what you're feeling and all this stuff. And it's like, that is not the thing that's going to help you. I am going to go for one Sacred Rebels Oracle card. And it's funny because when I was thinking about doing a reading, I saw Alana Fairchild, who is the creator of that deck, and I've never seen her before. Um, but I saw her on a YouTube short. Is like it came up just after I was watching the other one that I was saying about moving your body for release as opposed to like talking our way through trauma. So she is just like I feel like she couldn't be anything other than what she is. If Alana Fairchild is her real name and she's got like this English accent, this British accent, um, maybe I'll try to link that video in too. But that's the kind of energy that I want is like this, she's got this sacred feminine energy that I wanted to know, I wanted to embody when I was young, but it was like my parents gave me the name Dale. That's a boy's name. It's almost like I was never allowed to have access to my feminine energy when it comes to embodying it. It's like my body showed it. As a matter of fact, I like went through puberty early in life, so my body was developing way faster than the people around me when it comes to like my feminine body, but it was the feminine energy within me that was not allowed to develop at the same rate. It was like it was so it's so strange. It's just certain things are just so strange. Um about how I can easily see I used to tell my parents, like, I just really want a dog, and I wouldn't have tried to keep wandering in this world to figure out what else is meant for me. Okay, you know what? This card that it's coming out on, softly, softly, the tender touch, that seems like exactly what I'm talking about. So I am going to read that card, and then I will link Alana Fairchild's video just so you can see who she is, how she speaks. She has meditations online. She's just like this ultimate mother energy, okay? And I think that everybody can benefit from her energy. All right, softly, softly, the tender touch is card number 20. The feminine wisdom of gentleness can assist you now. All right? This is exactly what I'm talking about. It's like how to soften that attitude within me and be soft at all times and really embody that and then still utilize that fire that's in me. It's almost like the King of Wands, right? To use that King of Wands energy in order to get to hold the proper position of leader in my family, in my home, in my community by knowing how to properly use it, right? Same with that King of Swords energy, knowing how to properly use it and contain it and release what needs to be released. All right, the feminine wisdom of gentleness can assist you now. When you are at a point in life where you want to attain greater things, but don't necessarily have a proportionally greater supply of energy at our disposal, it's time to work smarter rather than harder. This is the way of feminine wisdom. However, a cultural ignorance of the feminine way currently prevails. We are generally taught that the more force we use, the more we try to make things happen, the more we will achieve. The feminine way is not about force, nor is it about driving, striving, pushing, or grabbing at what we can in order to create. It is about inviting what we wish for to come into the space we have provided for it. In internally and in our lives. This method cultivates more energy, causes less stress, and attracts what is desired. It is manifestation by invitation rather than by will or force. There's an old story that the sun and the wind were debating about who was more powerful. After boasting about their prowess, they made a wager. A man walked down the street with a coat on, and the wind and the sun decided that whomever could force the coat off the man was the most powerful. The wind began demonstrating its impressive power. It blew and began demonstrating. Well, it blew and caught underneath the coat, pulling it and nearly ripping it right off the man. But the man wrapped his coat around himself more tightly to protect himself against the force of the wind. Eventually, perhaps temporarily out of puff, the wind gave up. The sun took over. He shone down, becoming brighter and brighter until the man slipped off his coat, slung it over his shoulder, and walked down the street, quite possibly wondering what was happening with the weather that day. The wind attempted to do by force what the sun was able to do by being. You are being asked to surrender your forcefulness, your determination, and your intense activity, even if it is just for this moment. Does this mean that you have to surrender the goals you were chasing through those endeavors? Certainly not. This is not about letting go of achievement. It is about understanding the process of manifestation in a more intelligent way. There is a way of creating that gives you energy and doesn't leave you utterly worn out. It is about allowing what you want to come to you. Be yourself absolutely, naturally, and with ease. Shine your light and allow your presence to invite that which you wish to receive. It is about cultivating an energetic affinity with what you seek, rather than feelings of lack and need. Do you see the subtle but important difference? To feel that you are already a naturally abundant being who gratefully invites more of what you want into your life is rather different to feeling like, wait, to feel that you are already a naturally abundant being who gratefully invites more of what you want into your life is rather different to feeling lack, fear, and wishing your world would change. It is a bit like dressing for the job you want, even if it is not yet the job you have. You energetically embody what you wish to attract more of into your life. Life attracts like attracts like. This oracle brings you a message. You don't need to push quite so hard to receive what is naturally coming to you. Your push comes from a place of uncertainty over whether or not you will succeed. You need to relax and have more faith in yourself. All things come in time, rightfully, and according to a great loving wisdom. You're not immune to this. You shall have your time and shine too. Rebel against any voice of fear within you and around you that tells you otherwise. It is okay to become softer, to feel the energy of what you wish to attract into your life, and to act as much as you can as though it is already that way. You are not fantasizing or daydreaming or failing to live in the real world if you do this. You're actually working with the feminine art of manifestation through gentle beingness and attraction as you soften into becoming what you are seeking. What you wish for will not be able to resist your shining, inviting presence. And this is what we do all the time anyway. Okay. All right. Listen, if you get a loan to go to college, right? If you get a college loan and you go to school, that is manifestation. You show up to school every day. If you imagine yourself, because the whole world wants you to imagine what you do when you grow up, it's like they're putting you into a place of where you have to imagine things that already exist that people will support you in. Okay. If you say I want to be a superhero, they're going to be like, okay, that's cute for Halloween and for your first couple of years of life, but they're not going to keep encouraging you to be a superhero. Okay. That's not the way that it's going to be. So you use the power of manifestation all the time. It's like using she's talking about dressing the way you want to be. We do that all the time by dressing the way that, let's say that there's like a cool rapper or something that we like, or there's just a cool musician or something that we want to be more like. And so we dress like the people who influence us. It's like you are trying to pull in the energy of that person for yourself. That's what we do. So it's not this weird esoteric thing to say, like, dress like what you want to be. We're doing it already. So you might as well use it to get beyond the group of other people who dress like you, or the group of other people who are willing to accept you for being like an accountant as opposed to a superhero. Okay. If you want to be a superhero, start dressing like a superhero. People are going to think that you're crazy. But they're going to remember, like, oh, yeah, that's the person who dressed like a superhero. So they're going to expect you to be super. So you better be like that. All right. This oracle also comes with a very special message that you've been working very, very hard. You have learned much and accomplished much, but it is now time to change your approach. Let go of any force in your approach to creation now. Everything serves a purpose, and learning the benefits and limitations of the more forceful way of manifestation through effort and willpower was a useful lesson. However, if you were to continue with that approach, it would stop working for you because you are now beginning to create on a far grander scale that is beyond what an individual can manifest through willpower alone. Willpower is only a step in the process, okay? It's that step that you need in order to secure up your boundaries and decide who it's best to hang around with based on the routines that you want to do. It's like if it's going to be real hard for you to give up like drinking, then you're probably going to have to take a break from people who like drink a lot. If you have people who drink in your environment. Now, that can be hard, but trust me, once you're set on something, if let's just say you went to a family dinner and you're allergic to peanuts and everybody else is like eating something with peanuts in it, you're not going to eat that thing because you have an aversion to it, right? You know why you're not supposed to eat it. Well, alcohol can be the same way. Anything that you want to eliminate from your life because it doesn't give you the most positive benefit, just think of it as like an allergy, all right? That's all you have to do is like, yeah, maybe it's going to like I don't think everybody knows that they have an allergy until they have a reaction to it. All right. So if your reaction to like smoking too many cigarettes is the fact that you are unhealthy and you're spending too much money and it's like you're going to see the negative side effects, whether or not you're willing to look at it and pinpoint it towards that thing. And if it's not an actual like allergy to where you can still keep living with it, then you're going to keep doing that. But if you treat it like that, that it's something that is like toxic to you and, you shouldn't have it, then that's the best way to look at it is like, it's an allergy that I can learn to avoid. All right. So let's finish this up. However, if you were to continue with that approach, it would stop working for you because you are now beginning to create on a far grander scale that's beyond what an individual can manifest through willpower alone. You're individually creating through your art and healing, but also contributing globally to new consciousness through your own spiritual growth. You're a part of a global healing manifestation process. You are, through your way of being in the world, helping to birth a new awareness. This new way will heal the human heart and bring it back into balance with nature. This is essential for the human soul to survive, flourish, and to cooperatively nurture the earth rather than destroy her natural resources. You may or may not be consciously aware of the extent to which this new way of manifesting through receiving rather than taking can actually help all of humanity. But nonetheless, it is playing an important role in greater human evolution. It is the power of attraction and magnetism rather than that of striving and force that will replenish your energy and restore your body, mind, and heart after your struggle. This change in approach will encourage the shift from head to heart that is essential for your individual well being for the greater human evolution. You need to heal so that you can help the world heal. Does this give you absolute permission now in your own world or in your own mind to take an easier approach to your sacred, rebellious, creative manifestation? Healing process. Say aloud, I shine like the sun, radiant with grace, and all that I desire comes to me according to the perfect timing. I relax, believe, and receive through unconditional love. This is now so. All right. And if you can't shine like the sun, shine like the moon. The moon is a reflection of the sun's light. Okay. So just be willing to at least like receive the sun's light and reflect it back so that when people look at you, they're like, look at this beautiful creation. All right. And the one thing that I started thinking about as I was like reading that is I was thinking about wanting to make my own jeans. Okay. I was thinking about that just a little while before I started the reading because I had tried these pair of jeans from Target that are more like, you know how they're moving back into 90s styles. So my kids wanted a pair of jeans like that. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try it. Well, I don't feel like they're right on me. And then so I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna go and put my flares back on. I go to put my flares on and I rip them as I'm putting them on. As I like uh, go to pull them up, they rip. So I'm like, oh my gosh. All right. I just need to do what I know that I can do. And that's if somebody else can stitch up a pair of freaking jeans, I know I can do it myself. And so that's going to be one of the domestic things that I try to move back into with patience because I can. There's no timeline for this thing. This is something that I personally want because I want my life to fit me. Okay. I don't want to go out there and be like, okay, I'm a size 6. Let me go and it's like my size 6 doesn't, it's like everybody else's options of what a size 6 are fit differently on me than what is ideal. So it doesn't matter what size I am by everybody else's standards. It's about like what, you know, if I make a pair of pants to fit me, it doesn't matter what size they are. They're my size, okay? And I'm the creator of them. So I can adjust them or like make them better every time or make them different. Change the style up. All right, I love you. I'm going to leave it at that. Have a great day. Bye.